The U.S. government will soon stop mailing paper checks for federal payments, and that includes Social Security. It's part of a plan to modernize the system and to prevent fraud. Starting September 30th, you have to switch to direct deposit or a prepaid debit card called Direct Express. Waivers for paper checks are available for those over 90, for those with disabilities, or who live in remote areas.
Is President Vance hosting a gathering this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
Is he working on what?
Is he hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know. I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
I saw it reported today, and it's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation, and I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country. And that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit. Okay? Yeah, please.
A new Gallup poll says
Room flanked by Secret Service officers as snipers surveyed windows across the street. He said he was just coming up with ways to spend his money ahead of yet another trade announcement, this one involving semiconductors.
We're going to be announcing on semiconductors and chips, which is a separate category, because we want them made in the United States. And by the way, they're being made in the United States. You know, we have the biggest in the world, as you know, from Taiwan is coming over and spending $300 billion in Arizona, building the biggest plant in the world for chips and semiconductors.
More big news today. President Trump is now saying that when Jay Powell eventually leaves next year as the chairman of the Federal Reserve, he will not be replaced by Scott Bessent. Bessent is on every single short list, but the president says that they talked to him. He wants to stay at Treasury.
Hey guys, Carlos Cortez here. Another episode of Scriptures in Wall Street. Let me say full disclosure here. I got allergies again, so I'm going to push through this. And I just don't like missing episodes. I don't like missing weeks. I don't like missing at all because I want to continue to give content. And every time that I find an excuse not to podcast, someone always benefits. There's someone that actually needs help, that needs information. And if that's you, I appreciate it because you're the reason why I keep going when I'm going. You're the reason why that I feel in my heart to give you the best message I could, whether that's financially, spiritually, or just where you're at in life. And speaking about life's decisions, one of the things that really struck a chord to me this week was that you are responsible for your own happiness. Now, that lands different for many people. But if we learn to take responsibility, we live in freedom. When we have responsibility in our lives, we have total control. We can live a life by design. We can live a God-ordained life. But when we actually blame others for our own mistakes that we committed, you live in poverty. You live in the mind of an impressed person. You attract all the negative. There is no freedom. You continue to have a negative impact on life. You ever feel like everything you touch goes to the crapper? You ever feel like when you speak to somebody, you want to stay away because you know they're going to be negative? You almost like feel like, hey, man, I don't want that bad mojo, that mojo, whatever you call it. I just don't want those spirits around me. But when we say always and never and use weak words like try, you are programming your brain for insolvency. You literally are denying God's perfection in your life, his great power to lead you into greatness. And so as we go through this storm, as we go through the retirement, as we save, you're going to get negative thoughts. You're going to have bad processes. You're going to have people that have no experience that are negative. You're going to have people that are in worse financial shape than you are try to give you financial advice. And I see this all the time. And I always talk about, like, in day trading or in swing trading, whatever type of trading you want to call it, successful traders, everyone thinks you got to learn this strategy, but it's about 50% mindset, 40% risk management, and 10% strategy. You don't need a crazy strategy to be successful trading. Like, you could quit your job, theoretically, learn how to trade the charts, as long as you have your mindset, as long as you have your risk management. So 90% is here when it comes to trading. The other 10 is a strategy that anyone can learn. You can learn charts. You can learn how to short, how to buy call options, how to trade. All that stuff's easy. You don't need to be a financial professional. But what you need to be a professional in is actually getting involved with the personal development towards the cross. And it's ugly. It's painful, because you will be exposed in ways of weaknesses. You will be called in so many different ways that makes you uncomfortable. But let me tell you, self-inflicted pain is the best growth you'll ever have. This is why ice baths are so good. This is why working out, lifting iron is good for you. Your muscle goes through a ripping process, a tearing down process to rebuild and restore. And so, as we talk about strategies moving forward, just understand a lot of the logic that is out there is actually detrimental to your financial health. And so, I labeled this podcast, "What is the number one mistake?" The number one mistake in retirement is actually failure to plan for the catastrophic events such as healthcare, nursing home, like long-term care. Because think about it, you're 70 years old, and boom, you fall, you break your hip, you can't travel the world with your friends, you can't go on cruises, you can't play pickleball, you can't go on a golf course. You're ending up in a nursing home. And now you got to open up your paycheck. And now you're trying to apply for Medicaid, and you find out that, hey, I got a few $100,000 in my IRA. What do you mean I have to sell out of it and then apply and then put it in an irrevocable trust and apply for Medicaid so I can afford long-term care? When all of a sudden, all we had to do was put money set aside that could grow with an index 15, 20 years from now. So if you ever run into a long-term care situation, you got money there that's growing and paying for whatever type of Ritz-Carlton style service of long-term care that you want. But many people talk bad about long-term care. Now, I'm not here to sell or talk about long-term care. I'm just saying that planning is important. And if you didn't have the mindset, if you didn't be proactive about the risks that are involved, then things would go bad. Speaking of things go bad, there's a story out there I wanted to share. It's pretty tough for me to talk about it, but I'm going to pull through, and I think it's relevant to what I'm about to say here. So I have a friend, and I knew a guy. His name was Dwayne. Dwayne was a smart guy. He taught me a lot about what I'm about to talk about today, about the number one retirement mistake, about parking in the wrong parking spot, about what's the difference between a tax deduction versus a tax reduction. I'll explain that too. He taught me basically a whole new way of securitizing your retirement that was anti-CBDC, that was anti-government. The Fed could not do anything about it. And it really spoke to me because we dove deep into the green money strategies. And there's a whole new world, guys, utilizing section code 7702. And so Dwayne was a smart guy. And he had a passion for aviation, just like I have a passion for hockey and some other hobbies. You guys know I'm passionate about being masculine, being passionate about helping others. There's things that we're all passionate about. Dwayne was very passionate about aviation. And if you know anything about aviation, I mean, it could be cultish, right? Pilots are very smart people, cool people. Every pilot I've met has been awesome. And he told me, he inspired me so much. He was like, Carlos, like, you could take your family anywhere you want and it's safe. I'm like, well, my eyes aren't good and I'm scared of heights, and there's no way I'm gonna put my family on a bird and it crashes. I'm in Florida. We see emergency landings all the time here. And a lot of them don't end well. You don't end alive in most of them. And he was explaining, you are more likely to get in a car accident than an airplane accident. And I started thinking about it. I said, dang, man, you are right. You are right. You could, yeah, I could totally see that. So I started believing. I started looking into getting a pilot's license, getting encouraged. And he's saying, yep, you can find a 1985 airplane. I'm like, 1985 for less than $250,000. Like, what are you talking about here? That thing is used and old. He's like, well, it's still a good plane. They don't break down like cars. And he just like opened up a whole new world to me that I didn't even understand. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is here's a picture of Dwayne and Bobby, his wife. He came to one of my client events pre-COVID. This is when I had client parties before COVID, before I became virtual, before I had a podcast. I used to have these really cool client parties, and we would have like free poker nights and free casino nights and like don't risk your principal. Let's have fun. It was really cool. Steak dinners, magicians, just a good time. So it was then when Dwayne would come back and he'd actually stop by with his wife, and it was just awesome to see him. And then again, he would say, Carlos, all pilot errors are human error. All pilot accidents are human error. They're very safe. Well, one night, he was in North Carolina, Blue Ridge Mountains area. He decided to go night flying. And the tail of his fuselage, the tail of his aircraft, did not clear the top of a mountain in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And him and his wife died in a terrible plane accident. Why am I sharing this story? I'm sharing this story because he taught me that you literally could be parking in the wrong parking spot. Your financial retirement could be human error. Investing in a 401k IRA has that component where you think you're flying high. You think everything is great. The stock market collapses. You've lost 40%. This is not fear mongering, but you actually do not own your 401k. And I apologize. My last podcast this weekend, I was talking about it and I got very, very passionate about it because there's so much content and so much experience I have in this that I actually forgot to show you the white paper. And today I'm going to show you the white paper. But I'm also going to show you the problem, and I'm going to show you what the conflict is, obviously, but also a solution. And I may not have time today, but the reason why I labeled this podcast the number one retirement mistake, yes, it's healthcare and failure to plan for the catastrophic event, but that number two retirement is always going to be the number two mistake in retirement is going to be taxes and inflation. And if you're building wealth inside of a 401k that you don't even own, and we're going to prove that here shortly, what is 25% times zero? I had a client call me the other day and it's like, I want to make 30% a year. I don't care how risky it is. I said, fine, no problem. What about 70? Why not 70% a year? Because I could do it. I could risk your money and make 70%. I know how to do it. I've done it myself. I made 1,300% during COVID. Real talk. Here's my screenshot. Turned a $3,000 account into $33,000. No BS. I could do it personally. But you know what the problem is? Is if I build your $500,000 IRA and I went conservative and I doubled it within 4 to 6 years at 7, 8, 9%, just tracking the index. Now you got a situation. You got $500,000 in an account that you don't own. You don't know what the taxes are. Some of you actually went to the car dealership, took the keys, and didn't ask questions. Didn't know what the terms are, just bought the car and said to the salesman, we'll figure it out later. Or he says it to you, here's the keys, we'll figure it out later. Like, who would take that deal? No money down, don't worry about it. That's what happens when you have a 401k and IRA. You don't know what the terms are. You don't know when you pull money out. The government determines when you get to retire. And God forbid you go on welfare, also known as Social Security, which, by the way, stop issuing paper checks, I hear. Speaking of Social Security, they stopped sending you color statements. Now they're black and white. Remember, they used to be in color. They stopped that. How much money they save in ink? Now it's black and white. Now they stop even mailing it in general. Now you got to go online. Okay? And Social Security, they also save on the stamps. They save on the stampage, on the postage. How much money are they saving there? Where else are they cutting corners? So you go on your website. Now everything is FedNow oriented. Remember, I told you this nonsense. I told you this almost 2 years ago when Biden was in. I said, look for people on Social Security to actually be vulnerable to the FedNow program. You literally have electronic deposits. There's no more paper check. You will have to succumb to the track, trace, and control ways. You have to succumb to what they say. And what I'm getting at is that you got to be proactive now. I told you this was happening, and it wasn't hype, man. Like, go through my podcast 4 years ago, and maybe I can find it. But I literally said that the people on Social Security, welfare people on Social Security, will be the first ones to get fed now, to be CBDC and governmental workers, because they rely on it. And I totally get it. And so that's what happened now. There's no more paper checks. Think what you want. Oh, you're such a conspiracist, Carlos, blah, blah, blah. But that's exactly what's happening. So I see how they're track, tracing, and controlling. And it doesn't matter if you go to Glory Bank. It doesn't matter if you go to your credit union. It doesn't matter whatever bank you have, FDIC. If you have an FDIC stamp, you are being financially inoculated. Yes, you heard me right. In order to receive an FDIC stamp, you got to cater to their regulations, per capita agreements, like their per capita rules, their provisions. They only have 0.74% of your money. So we get the question, Carlos, is my money safe in the bank? Well, we're going to look at KRE in a minute. Let me take notes because I keep forgetting. Pull up charts. We're going to look at KRE and we're going to see the banks. And I want you guys to understand, like, if the bank failures happen, if this commercial real estate crisis really unfolds, like how they've been hiding, look out for the banks, because the banks will have failures. And a certified deposit, also known as a certificate of disappreciation, a CD, you literally 100% have forfeited your money to the financial institution so that they could use your money as liquidity to bail in themselves out. You've relinquished control. You forfeited those assets to the bank. They get to determine when and how they get to pay you back at their rates, at their terms. Like, you sign that contract when you have an FDIC bank account. It doesn't matter, NCUA as well. Now, credit unions have a less likelihood of bailing, but it's not impossible. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry you were led to think I'm so sorry that you are led to think that banks are safe, that banks guarantee you. There's no way a bank could ever not pay you back. Guys, it's happened. It's happened. Debanking is real. The commercial real estate crisis is real. The toxic asset relief program in 2008 is straight up real. 2010 was real. The Dodd-Frank Act was commissioned. Read it. The Dodd-Frank Act literally commissioned banks to do bank bail-ins. That is real. So when you have your whole livelihood in the banks and the banks go belly up, baby doll, let me tell you, sweetie, you're losing your assets and you might get it back. I don't like that. That doesn't make me secure at night. That does not make me secure at night. What makes me secure is knowing that you have principal protection. You have a contractual agreement. You have reserves, dollar for dollar. You have a state that backs up every single thing that you have in your own state. That is state chartered and not federally mandated. That is anti-CBDC, that you're covered under insurance contract law, that the financial institution has been around for 100 plus years. They've seen every freaking recession over the past 100 years, also including the Great Depression, as well as the Great Recession. Guys, this is the security that I'm talking about. This is the security that us God-fearing patriots are not just needing, but we're demanding it. And unfortunately, when you have red money advisors, woke vaccinated advisors that don't have your interest at heart, because if they did, they would not be working for these big freaking conglomerate banks that don't have your interest or your values at heart. Like, if your advisor is that good, why is he peddling company products that are corporate America for the big banks? Same thing with your hairstylist or your attorney or your dentist. Do they work for a big corporation? No, they're independent because they're good at what they do, and they're willing to put their name on the door because they're good at what they do. And that's us. We are good. We are the pioneers of all this. We are the dons of the America First God-fearing agenda. We are actual financial advisors that are licensed, that have a podcast, because corporate America tried to shut me down. Private equity tried to say, you know what, Carlos, maybe you should change your message and we could give you $20 million. You know what I said to them? Go fly a freaking kite, man. Do you think my integrity is for sale? No. I am not changing my message to cater to your feelings, period. Like, that aggravates me. I can make my own 20 million on my own, and I'll freaking record it and podcast about it, and they could go fly a kite. I'm not changing my message. I'm not a sellout. And I don't know if you could say that for your advisor. I don't know if your advisor could say, hey, I screwed up. I got involved in some stupid Bitcoin scam 4 or 5 years ago. I misled clients unbeknown to me, lost a lot of money, $500,000, $600,000. My clients lost a lot too. And I owned up to it. I said, you know what? It's my mistake. I am going to settle with you. I'm going to help you recoup those losses. All my colleagues said, you're an idiot. You should go you should go start a new corporation, declare bankruptcy. I said, no. These people entrusted me, and it's red money. We all know it's risky. We all know this could happen. But in my heart, I knew that I needed to do the right thing here. And so I covered pretty much half the losses. I'm not responsible for the person that stole it, but I am responsible for recommending it. And I own that, because that's part of my message. My mess is my message. And so you can pull it up online. I could care less. People label me a crypto scam artist. They could say whatever they want. They can say whatever. It's pretty funny. But one thing I am proud about is that we stay true to our word. We stay true to our clients. We acknowledge our mistakes. We acknowledge that, hey, we're not perfect either, and we're going to make it right. And that's me. Yeah, I have a chip on my shoulder. Yeah, I've made mistakes. I'm not perfect, and I admit that. But I also don't want perfect people with me as well. I want human beings, authentic people, and that's as a client as well. Like, you may have your life together, and that's great. And you may try to plan your life, and that's great. Never made a mistake in your life. Great. Guess what? I'm probably not a fit for you. Probably not a fit for you. And I don't have to work with you. Because God doesn't call the perfect person. He calls qualified. He calls the one with the stain on his shirt. And I am called to fight this war. This financial war is not a financial war. It is a spiritual war. And you need a little bit of financial knowledge to fight it. But I also want to fight for you. I also have a heart to serve our God-fearing, patriotic kingdom people that see the destruction, that see this as manipulation, the lies, the hate that is destroying our God-fearing people. And whether this is my for-profit ministry, yes, I make money when you call and you get to invest in my investments. I get paid by the financial institutions, or I charge a fee that you decide to go with. Yes, that's how I make my living. I don't make money on the podcast. It's not a primary winner for me. It's not what you think it is. But what I want to just tell you is that we need to start changing our mindset. You see the stock market going up and you're starting to say, man, I'm missing out. I should have bought the NASDAQ. I should have bought the QQQ. I should have bought NVIDIA. I should have bought, GameStop or Netflix. It got murdered to $40 a share, and now it's over 400. Whatever the situation is, the FOMO kicks in. The emotional trading kicks in. The bro investing kicks in. It's time to change our mindset, guys, because it doesn't matter. Like Dwayne said, all plane accidents are human error. Well, financial mistakes are human error. Love you, Dwayne. I'll see you in heaven. I will smack you up for breaking our hearts when I see you. But I love you, brother. Man, I wish I could wring your neck. Shout out to you, man. May Jesus Christ cover you in his blood, and may you forever be in heaven. Rest in peace, brother. You're a beautiful soul. And thank you for all you've taught. Thank you for being a legacy to me. Thank you, brother.
You have the Clarity bill, you have the Genius bill, you have the stablecoin bill. All these bills are there to change the financial landscape of what is about to come. What are you doing right now to protect your money, your retirement, from all these CBDC-like systems that is already track tracing and controlling you? Even more so with the AI revolution that we're in right now. We've been talking about this for so long now, and we are effectively helping clients protect their money, secure their retirement, get out of red money, support your values, support America, and not this CBDC system. They masked it as ESG, they masked it as DEI, they masked it as all these things, but at the end of the day, it's all about track, trace, and control. Been a financial advisor for 20 years now. We know what we're doing, and we want to help God-fearing patriots secure their retirement. God bless. Click the link below if you would like to have a conversation.
Speaking of legacy, you can't live a legacy if you don't know your own parking spot. For those of you that don't have a retirement, please, I beg you, the 401k is a trap. And I'm going to bring that up right now before I get all emotional and out in another tangent, because I still want to show my charts. I got my notes here. All my notes say is don't forget KRE and the white paper on 401k. The rest is going to be up to me. So this is going to be kind of boring, but I want to show you the facts real quick. This stuff is boring. Like, who the heck wants to talk about retirement plans? Maybe a geek like me. I don't know. But I want to show you this white paper because it's fascinating. This is on dol.gov. I don't know if you can see the bar. You can't. But this is on dol.gov, guys. I am not capping here. I'm not BSing. This is straight ERISA. Now, you've heard me say ERISA many, many times. ERISA is Employment Retirement Income Security Act of 1974. Before you fall asleep, just kind of stay with me here. It's a federal law that sets the minimum standards for retirement plans in the private industry. For example, I won't tell you example, but basically, ERISA does not require any employer to establish a retirement plan. It only requires those who establish plans must meet certain minimum criteria. The law generally does not specify how much money a participant must be paid as a benefit. Here we go. Participant. They didn't say you owned an account, guys. You are participating. So notice how this verbiage changes. So ERISA does the following: requires plans to provide participants and information about the plan, including important information about plan features and funding. The plan must furnish some information regularly and automatically. Some is available free of charge, some is not. So right there, oh, well, I don't know how many fees my 401k is charging me because they don't have to disclose it. Some is available free of charge, some is not. Already there. Sets a minimum standards for participation, vesting, benefit, accrual, and funding. The law defines how long a person may be required to work before becoming eligible to participate in a plan, to accumulate benefits, to have non-forfeitable right to those benefits. The law also establishes detailed funding rules that require plan sponsors to provide adequate funding for your plan. Requires accountability of plan fiduciaries. It goes on, talks about what is a plan fiduciary. Give participants the right to sue for benefits of breach of fiduciary duty. Guarantees payment of certain benefits if a defined plan is terminated. Defined plan. Okay, so what is a defined plan? Also known as a pension. A defined benefit plan funded by the employer promises to specify a monthly benefit at retirement. The plan states that it's promised exact dollar amount, such as $100 per month, an example, or retirement. More often, it may calculate your benefit through a formula, including factors such as your salary, age. So this is your pension. This is your verbiage on a pension. Guys, a pension is called a defined benefit plan. They privatize a pot of money so you can get a stream of income. And you've heard it this way. You've heard the lifetime payout. You heard a 10 period certain. You've heard joint payout. If you're married, you want a joint payout, covers you and your spouse for a lower payment. Single life is going to pay higher, but it's only cover your life. So when you pass away, there's nothing to give. This is called a defined benefit plan. Unfortunately, pensions don't exist anymore unless you work for the federal government. But all a defined benefit plan is simply an insurance contract because it's guaranteed. So how does that make you feel about a defined benefit plan? It's a pension. You don't have any access to it. You are a participant. Oh, and it gets better. So for those of you that have a 401k, it's called a defined contribution plan. Similarly, like a pension, but it's got a little more twist. A defined contribution plan, on the other hand, does not promise you a specific benefit amount or retirement. Instead, you and your employer contribute money to your individual account in a plan. In many cases, you are responsible for choosing how the contributions are invested and deciding how much to contribute from your paycheck through pre-tax deductions. Your employer may add to your account, in some cases, by matching a certain percentage of contributions. The value of your account depends on how much it is contributed to the investment performance. At retirement, you receive the balance in your account, reflecting the contributions, investment gains or losses, or any fees. 401k plan is a popular type of defined contribution plan. These are simple 4 types of 401ks. You have a traditional 401k, a safe harbor 401k, simple 401k, and automatic enrollment ESOP as well. It's basic on stock ownership and profit sharing plans, for an example. And then it talks about SEPs, the difference between SEPs. We don't have time to get into that. But all this verbiage is the same. Notice it said they determine when you get to retire. How does that make you feel that your employer determines when you get to retire? That your plan administrator, your plan fiduciary gets to tell you when you need to retire? You do not have access to this money till you lose your job or retire. At the end of the day, here's all the garbage on it. This is not BS. Can a plan reduce promised benefits? Absolutely. They can terminate a defined benefit plan. They don't have the funding to it. And it goes and tells you when can I access my accumulated benefits? You can access it when you retire or you get fired. And that, my friends, is why you don't own your 401k. All these rules. Does this sound like you're an account owner or a participant? You tell me. I'm just stating the facts. You can formulate your own opinion all you want. What if you pass away? Your amount goes to your beneficiaries. Lump sum, roll over to another retirement plan account. I mean, it goes on and on, guys. What I'm telling you is that imagine saving your whole life into this and just figuring this out now. Like, how are you feeling right now? Like, what does that do to you, knowing that, you know what, I've been parking in the wrong parking spot my whole life. And it's okay. You got $1 million in your 401k, pat yourself in the back. Now tell me how long it's going to last you and tell me how much taxes you're going to pay. I want to know, because it's going to be very tough. You're going to need solutions. And that solution is a 7702 solution if you want to do a Roth conversion or a 7702 conversion. Those are two different strategies. But basically, we need to pay taxes now, and you have the ability to have a financial institution to help you pay those taxes so that we can live a tax-free retirement. Now, the beautiful thing about getting out of this system is you get to determine when you retire. There's no 59.5 rule. There's no stupid 73 rule, RMDs. There's no forced taxation. Oh, and by the way, when you take Social Security, by the way, also known as a welfare program, they limit on how much you can make. You understand that when you make X amount of dollars, $23,500 a year, you will be penalized 50%. What is so attractive and sexy here is that if you build a whole retirement account in a tax-free bucket outside of the edicts of the stupid IRS, of the stupid Fed that we know about through this awesome book called A Creature from Jekyll Island, when we walk away from this system and we actually own our own freedom like a God-fearing patriot, and we can own our own bank, which is your own bank, you have the ability to never, ever fall into this trap that the IRS puts in you when it comes to Social Security. You are forced to take Social Security because they know you have a qualified retirement account. They know that you took the financial inoculation and that you're booby-trapped into this stupid system that is now ordained to track, trace, and control you. And you've lost your financial freedom and you're becoming a slave to the system. Over my dead body, that will not be allowed on my watch. I want you guys to understand that when you build retirement, you need to build it in a tax-free account. Now, many of you have IRAs. God bless you. You have millions of dollars. God bless you. We're almost there. The only thing that we can do is guarantee that principal, protect it, that you don't lose it. God forbid, to the stock market. And that looks different for every household. I get it. And you have millions of dollars. Great. Maybe $250,000. Maybe you only have 50,000. Great. But we can't lose that money, and we just have to nurture it. But for those of you that are starting out, or that you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s and have a few million or have $500,000, contact me because we need to start converting this over into a tax-free retirement. That doesn't mean we blow up your taxes for the rest of your life. What that means is we change parking spots, because once you take Social Security, that's where the scam happens. They put you on a earnings test. They put you on welfare. You cannot make over $23,500 in 2025. If you make over that, you will be penalized 50% more so. The money that you pull from your retarded 401k system is now calculated as ordinary income, as if you were working. It's so stupid, but yet so smart and clever and evil. This is what they do. They know you're going to take Social Security. They already know this stuff. They know you're going to do the match. They know the 401k. This is why they give tax breaks right now. You see, Satan doesn't care about now. He's in it for the long game. He completely wants to deceive you little by little by little by little, and that you build this wealth and you get emotionally attached. And there could be no wrong, because, wife, I have $2 million in my 401k. All we got to do is live off 5% until you hit Social Security, until you're forced to take Social Security at age 70, or if you need to take it at full retirement age. What's crazy here, guys, is that the government dictates when you need to retire. It's called a full retirement age. You can look it up on SSA.gov. They literally tell you you got to be 66, 67 to receive full retirement age benefits. And you get a Social Security statement that is now online. It used to be colored, but now it used to be black and white. But now they're getting rid of it. They have been getting rid of it for the past 5 years. And now they're getting rid of paper checks. They're simply are forcing you to have electronic deposit. You already see it, guys. I'm not capping here, man. This is reality. This is reality right now. And the fact of the matter is, we need to start converting our IRAs right now. Whether it's a Roth conversion, we have green money solutions. We have so many things that we could do. There's even products right now that give us a 40% bonus on a Roth conversion. It is nuts. I have companies right now that are begging to set up a tax-free retirement where we can use your death benefit. If you're healthy enough, we can apply for a cash value life policy, use the death benefit that we get, and honestly just borrow from the policy. It comes off the death benefit, and we utilize that money every single year to pay the taxes. And as you are converting into this 5-year pay system, you own every single dollar that's going in. Yes, there's fees. There's things that you got to build it right. You build it for growth and not for death benefit like some other commission breath agents do. We want to reduce the advisor commissions. We want to reduce the death benefit so that you are growing in a tax-free favorable account so that you can continue borrowing against it. Use the death benefit as loans. And 7702 basically says that you can borrow against your cash value life policy without taxation or penalties. And guess what? You don't even have to pay it back because it comes off the death benefit. You are your own bank. Furthermore, it's uninterrupted compounding. So if the index goes up, that money has never left your account because you're loaning it. And so you're getting this tax-free income, and your money has never left account value. It's pretty amazing. But yet, you're parking in the wrong parking spot. But yet, these people like clowns like Dave Ramsey say this is terrible stuff. And they don't even talk about 7702. Meanwhile, the banks are putting billions of dollars into these products. You don't know about it. They're leveraging it. People are buying laundromats, real estate, car rental businesses. They're buying all these businesses because they already started this 4 or 5 years ago, and now they're just cash flowing it out. You get to determine when you want to retire. If you're 20, 30 years old, this is something definitely you want to do because you could retire a tax-free millionaire. And that's what my mission is to help you grow your accounts so that you don't have to be subject to this garbage, to what the Fed says, to all this garbage that's out there, so that you get scammed by Social Security, that you get scammed on taxation, that you get scammed by the bro investors, that you get scammed by all the market manipulations. All you got to do is give us a call. We want to make sure it's a right fit. It's financial chemotherapy we have to do, and you have to be okay with it, and we have to apply for it, and we have to understand that, hey, it's a process. It's a process, but we want to deal with A-rated carriers, A-rated companies that have been around for a good 50 to 100 years, that are not woke, that are not funding the ESG agenda, that are not face diapering their employees, that are not force mandating the vaccine on everybody, that are not Fed Now based. And if that's you and you want to retire, then give me a call. 813-448-3446. I'm not a right fit for everybody, and that's okay. But I want to help our God-fearing patriots. Simply put. Well, I wanted to share something personally. Many of you asked about like my hockey and my kids. Hey, I want to just say a prayer to all the kids that are starting school this week. May the Lord keep you. May you be protected from this evil Luciferian ways that we have, that you are your child, your son, your daughter, that all the children that go to school could get there safe, that they could actually learn the truth and not some twisted agenda, not some satanic agenda. But God, protect these little ears and eyes for what they hear. And I pray, Lord, that their parents are based in you, that are based on the truth on the cross, and that they can help filter what is nonsense versus your word. May your word bring peace and healing to every family out there that honors you. That your word will have the ability to penetrate and restore families. So my prayer to all of our kids, even mine, that there will be no bullying, that they could actually learn with any type of learning disabilities, that they can be protected. God, that this generation that are in right now, that they could be the future leaders of America, that they could have the ability to grow in your word and be the light and salt for the generation to come. That they can be bold in your name, to not be afraid to get on camera and say that Jesus Christ is Lord. That they can be bold to say that every knee will bow, every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. That they may not subscribe to the lies of Satan in this victim mindset, and this mindset that people are after them to kill them and to destroy them, and fall into this victim ideology that is satanic. God, that they can find freedom and peace in you. That they could actually grow and have the ability to be leaders, future business women, future athletes, future doctors, future moms and dads, leaders, and even presidents. And God, we just thank you, Lord, for your grace and your mercy, because it is sufficient for us. We love you, Lord. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Anyways, I wanted to just pray for our children that are going to school. Speaking of school, there's a lot of things we got to learn. But I want to help you guys. So give us a call. I didn't get to the charts today. I knew I would forget, even though I wrote it down. I got really passionate about the 401ks. Tuesday, we're going to talk about charts. I'll give you a market update. There's some weird stuff going on. You need to know about it before going into midweek next week. Earnings are coming out. The market manipulations are there. The Qs are looking great, but they're losing momentum at the moment. And my aim is to keep you guys, it's keep the defense honest, right? My aim is to literally give you advice. You don't have to do business with Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Edward Jones. You don't have to do business with the banks anymore. We are a reliable registered source that we can help you grow your accounts and be there for you. All you got to do is give us a call. 813-448-3446. Don't forget to help lose some weight and to get fit mentally, physically. Go to getmeleanusa.com. Check them out. They're awesome. Also, if you have seen this stuff, it's called Fix the Blood USA. You just spray it in your tongue 3 or 4 times. Just like that. cleans your blood from pesticides. So with that being said, guys, go to getmeleanusa.com for your peptides, and also Fix the Blood USA to get that blood cleans. It's helping a lot. So God bless you guys. I'm out of here, and we'll talk soon.